Oh my goodness, this finally happens.
I know. Hello, hello.
At JD Gem gets to interview at the Yacht Stew, who's also the G in JD Gem.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
So you guys have seen me talk about Gemma for years and always talking about how what she's doing and her blog and now her website that went live this week. But specifically, I'm going to talk to you about her Instagram because even though I'm her dad, in all seriousness, she does an amazing job of using her Instagram, both for connections and helping a lot of people, and also getting to the point of monetization, right?
Yes, yes, finally.
Okay. So do you want to tell everybody what you're up to right now?
Yeah, sure. So, as most of you probably know, I'm sure my dad's told you, I've worked on super yachts now since end of 2011, and basically I've never taken a break. And after getting married this past summer, my husband and I just decided it was time to kind of take a step back and actually have a holiday. So we actually haven't been working since October. Instead, starting January, we started traveling Southeast Asia. We've just done 3 weeks in Sri Lanka, a week in Singapore, and we are crazy because we are currently in Phuket doing a fitness camp. So a little different from my usual yachting stuff, but also it's just been a great opportunity to spend so much more time online and, you know, foster more of a community because I have a bit more time, which has been awesome.
So tell us about your Instagram community then. When did you start Instagram?
Oh, when did I start? I want to say March 2016, maybe I think 2016. Yeah, I started the Yacht Stew.
Okay, so not very long ago.
No, not too long ago, you know. And I hadn't like pre-planned to start this page or this community, this blog. I had no concept of the blog. Really, I just wanted a place to share photos from working on board. That was all I wanted. And
Yeah.
for the first few months, I didn't even say my name or who I was. I just wanted to just share photos without, you know, kind of being the face of anything. And I never imagined, you know, I'd be where I am now, where I'm kind of known within the industry by this platform. And I get, you know, up to 40 to 50 direct messages on Instagram every single day from girls reaching out, asking for advice or tips or looking, you know, for this next product and asking for my recommendations. So when I first started, I really had no idea that it would become what it is now, which is actually a really cool surprise.
So how has your following grown then? Have you followed people and they followed you back, or how's that grown?
Yeah, so when I first started, anytime someone followed me, I followed back. I was just so excited, you know, to see my number go to 11 and then to 12. But then after a little while, I did notice that I was following accounts that I didn't necessarily think were within my niche or, you know, wasn't something I was inspired by. So then I started just unfollowing those accounts because I don't think it should be follow for follow. If someone wants to follow you, brilliant. But if, you know, you don't necessarily connect to their content, I think it does waste your time a little bit following them and it will clog up your feed. I think to just engaging a lot with those people within my industry, within kind of the yachting community on there. I also advertised it quite a bit when I started out on like my personal accounts. So then my family and friends could start, and they're always your biggest advocates. Like you, for example, you and mom always will share stuff that I share. So I think that's really important to go to your inner circle first.
Yeah.
I was also very fortunate that this past August, I did an interview with CNN, and when that happened, I gained 3,000 followers in 4 days. And my Instagram had about 32,000 views in 1 week, which was a bit overwhelming. And, you know, things like that happen, but also it's good and it's bad because out of those 3,000, not everybody's always going to engage with me. They're not always going to like my posts. So, you know, at the moment, I don't know how many followers I have. I'll have a quick check. But out of, let's see, how many do I have? 8,600. So out of that 8,600, you know, some of them won't engage because they see your name come up on this article, they follow, and that's it. There's no engagement. So since then, you know, I think you have to work even harder as your numbers grow to really engage in that core circle of people who are going to show up for every post that you share. That's kind of my view on that. Dad, you're frozen.
That was you or me, but anyway, we're back.
Yes. Yeah, I can still hear you.
Hello.
I'm here.
That's not good. Okay, so do carry on about how you built the following up.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people do like the follow unfollow method. That's not something that I've ever partaken in because I just think it's kind of falsehood really. And as you grow, you know, if you're just rapidly following all these accounts that don't necessarily, you know, won't have a connection to your page, you're going to have 100,000 followers, but maybe 100 likes on your photo. And that's not what brands want to see if you're wanting to monetize your Instagram. So, I showed up every day. I posted for the first year and a half, 2 years. I posted every single day at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as my Instagram started to gain a bit of traction, that's when I started posting twice a day, once at noon, once at 7 p.m. And then because I had a business account, I could check my analytics and see, yep, people are online at this time and this time, and that's when I would post. And you also then start going through Instagram, and I'd spend lots of time on like the explore page, finding, you know, the accounts that Instagram thinks you're gonna like, which a lot of times you are. And I would find a lot of accounts that would just be reposting content for other people. There's one in the yachting industry, it's called Yachty World. All they do is repost yachting photos. But they've got a following now of 15,000 people. So if they repost one of mine as someone, let's say, who had 300 followers at the time, 15,000 people are gonna see that. So I think it's being really strategic in who you're tagging in your photographs as well. If, you know, I don't know, let's say you're a baker and you want more people to see you, you're going to be tagging maybe people in the wedding industry, or you're going to be tagging, you know, more event staff because you want to grow your network. And if they re-tag you, then that's opening up your audience a lot more. And I also find Instagram stories is a great way to keep connected with the people that are following you. I'm a big believer in Instagram stories for sure.
Yes, you are. And I'm going to come back to that. But you said about tagging people. So obviously people get notification when they tagged. So when someone tags you in a post, what do you do about that?
It totally depends. I always go to the page. I always like the post. I'll always comment on it because I understand how important it is to be commenting on photos. If it's something that I think is super relevant to what I'm doing, then I will share it to my story. No questions asked, share it to my story, you know, because I think if people see you resharing and helping their content, they're going to do the same for you. So yeah, I usually always but I do find if there are those spam accounts, you know, they'll tag 100 people and saying, we're going to get you 1 million followers. I just block, spam, delete, because I don't want when people to go onto my Instagram and see my tagged photos to just have this like ensemble of annoying, stupid posts. Because it does show up as well. When you are tagged in the photo, if you're tagged in the caption, it won't show up on your Instagram, as you know, but if you're tagged in that photo, it will show. So you want it to represent your brand as well. So that is something I keep in mind when people do tag me is, you know, is this really gonna help me and assist with the overall look of my brand and what I stand for? And is it positive? If it's too negative, or if it's, you know, anything along those lines, then I'll just delete.
Yeah. And you mentioned, you know, your brand, because you really do have your Instagram account really has a look and a feel about it. not just from the little highlight icons, but the way you post your pictures and the colors. Do you use a specific filter that you have with your pictures to keep a consistency or not?
I mean, I swap and change. I do find that sometimes, like in the summer season, for example, when I'm on board at anchor a lot, it's just a lot of ocean and my Instagram is all blue. And other times it's all color. But I think I used to use an app. It's free. It's fantastic. It's called A Color Story. And A Color Story is brilliant. They have all these filter packs. You can go through. You can even favorite ones. So then you can maybe favorite 3 or 4 that are similar. So every photo you just upload to this app and pick one of those 4 filters. At the moment, I'm actually just using the iPhone vibrant setting. And I'm finding for me, it's working really well. I have an iPhone 8 Plus, so I think it takes, you know, pretty good photos as is. I have used Lightroom before. But for me, I just found the presets that I purchased, I know there's millions out there, but the ones that I had bought at the time made my photos look too unrealistic. They didn't look like I just stepped off the back of the boat and taken a photo. It looked like I had taken that photo, edited it, changed everything, and they just didn't do that well. They were beautiful photos, and I was so excited to share them, and they didn't do well. And I was like, you know, for my audience in particular, they do not want to see, you know, vibrant blue when it should be green. They just don't. So
they want real.
Absolutely. And when I'm posting, I always try and post with intention as well. So especially in the past year, I have not posted as consistently as I should have. But also now I only post when I have a specific purpose. How is this photograph going to serve my audience? Mm-hmm. Is it going to inspire them? Is it going to be something that's relatable to them? Will it give them a call to action? You know, it has to bring some sort of service to my audience or it does not get posted. And that's through that rule, I think it's really helped my engagement grow.
And how about hashtags? How do you pick your hashtags?
I'm a bit lazy with hashtags. I just copy and paste from every photo. I have 30. I've spent a good several weeks kind of researching. I try and do that every like 5 to 6 months or so. I go through all my hashtags. And then I also use, I have to say, I have a personal account and my yachting account. I use my personal account. I'll go on the Explore page and I'll just start typing in different hashtags that I can think of and just seeing what kind of content comes up. And if I think, oh, that's actually quite relatable to me, then I'll put it into kind of the pile that I have. I do have different hashtags for like table settings, where, you know, and cocktails and that sort of thing. But I do try and pick some main ones as well. My kind of rule of thumb is I do 10 more or less hashtags that are quite common, which has kind of its ups and downs. Sometimes, you know, there'll be a million other people using, you know, hashtag community over competition. But then I've also had messages from girls say, I saw you use that hashtag and I really appreciate that you're all about that. So, you know, in a sense, I never got on the Explore page because of that, but it worked. And then I use a lot more finer tuned ones like Yacht Stew, which you would only type in if you're in the industry and that you're trying to learn from a chief stew. So I think it's really important to have that mix of larger hashtags, but also use hashtags that are very relevant to you. But I try not to keep them too personalized. So I do hashtag the Yacht Stew on all of my photographs, but that's kind of the only one that's just for me. Because if you were just going through Instagram, exploring different options, you know, you're not just going to type in hashtag the Yacht Stew. Or let's say, for example, in your case with social media, you're not going to have people looking for social media assistance or help or, you know, website design, typing in, we make stuff happen. You know, but then when people do follow my page and they know that I'm called the Yacht Stew, they start using that hashtag in hopes that I'm going to be sharing theirs.
Right.
So it kind of comes in roundabouts, but for me, it is really important to not have too many too personal to me, if that makes sense.
Got it. So do you actually follow the Yacht Stew as a hashtag in your feed?
Yes.
So you can see what everybody else is doing it for?
Yeah, and it's also great because when you follow that in your feed, there's quite a few hashtags I follow. It also comes up in your stories, which I've found has been awesome because all these accounts that I don't follow are using the hashtag. And I feel like in stories, you kind of get through a lot of content a lot quicker than when you're just scrolling. And I've had a lot of people follow me just because I'm hashtagging all these different things in my stories, and I can make them so small and a certain color that you can't even see that I'm doing all these hashtags. So they are multi-dimensional for sure. It's not just about putting it on your caption. It's about following the right hashtags as well.
Fantastic. So when did you get into Instagram stories?
It probably took me like maybe two or 3 months after they announced it, because I was terrified about going on camera. I mean, even now, I'll kind of walk around the house and I'll prep myself, and sometimes I'm like gibbering on, and I'll be sitting next to Ben and he's like, Gemma, that was like 5 slides and you didn't really get anything across. I was like, okay, I'll start again. But now I feel like I'm a lot more confident in it. You know, I did one this morning. I was just walking to yoga and I was just asking like, hey, are my posts coming up? If not, try this. Or if girls ask me questions or DMs, I will share that and say, hey, what's all of your opinions? Which has been awesome. I just think it creates this intense personal connection that you can't get just through your captions. Because yes, I'm talking through my captions, but when I'm actually speaking, you get to hear my voice, you get to see me smile, you get to see what I'm up to that day. And it's just a lot more informal. You know, I don't have to make sure that my photo is going to fit in my feed and maybe rearrange it so it posts 2 days later to fit in the grid of 9. I can just be like, hey, today I did this, or I'm feeling really down today because this happened. Has this happened to anyone else on board? Let me know. Let's talk. And then all of a sudden you've got all these girls reaching out, and that I think is the main reason why my DMs are a bit out of control because I am really interactive on stories. I also find for me, when I'm writing a blog post, if I'm low on content for that blog post, I will post it in my stories. So for example, my role on board is called Chief Stew. And a lot of girls ask how you step up to that position. So what I did on my stories is I just said, hey girls, if you are a Chief Stew and you don't mind me asking you one question, please send me a message. Looking for 3 girls. I had 15 and I had to in the end say no because it just got too much. It would be too long for the blog post. But I just said to them, what's one tip you could give another girl? So through that, if I posted that on my feed, I don't think that would have had as much engagement because people are more likely to be open and honest with you over DMs than they are in their captions. Then when I created that blog post, I tagged all the girls that were a part of it on my feed. I tagged all the girls that were part of it on the Instagram story graphic that I made. Every one of them reposted, and every one of them had 2 or 3 friends that reposted because they were so excited that their friend was on the post. So from one Instagram story, I gained 40 followers because the chain of reaction was huge. So I think me having minimal content and reaching out for help helped me tenfold. So
plus you got great content for your blog.
Exactly. So it worked so well. And people now are like excited, like, oh, I got to go on this blog, or oh, I got to do this. And it's awesome.
That is amazing. Yeah. So can you overstory?
Yes, I've done it. Yeah, 100%. I mean, only like the diehard people can get through like 30. The first time when the question, ask me anything that first came out was Instagram, I posted that and just said, oh, I'm going to be on board tomorrow, so send me any questions and I'll answer them tomorrow. I think I got like 110 questions or so. I got through 30. I should have capped it at 10 because you lose the audience. If it's just, I was walking around the boat doing things, but people aren't going to want to sit through 30 of me talking.
No. Yeah.
Nonstop, so you can definitely overdo it. But I think it's just finding that fine balance of how your audience is going to connect and how long they will connect with you.
Yes. Yes.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give somebody who's knows they should do stories and has currently not done them or done 1 or 2 and feels very self-conscious or doesn't know what to do with their story?
So when my kind of feel like my big break into stories when I actually spoke for the first time, I totally used a filter because, you know, we all feel a bit more confident. We've got like bunny ears and stuff. But I just said to myself, today I'm going to do a story. And it just so happened that afternoon I was doing training with my girls. So I went on Instagram and I just said, I just want to show you guys, today we're doing training. This is how I set the training up. And this is how I feel like it helps our team. Is there anything you do to help your team? Within, I would say 30 minutes, I had 19 messages. And as someone who maybe had like 1 or 2 a day, I was blown away because I was giving people tangible information, but I was also sharing something that I felt confident about. So I think it's really important that you go on and, you know, let's say, I don't know, you're a makeup artist. You just go up and be like, morning guys, I just want to show you today, you know, I'm going to do this. And I just thought you guys would like to see it. I think it's doing something that you are confident in and providing something for them.
Yes.
I think that's really important. And I think now I'm at the point now where, you know, just before I posted a photograph of me having a smoothie after my workout, because people are on this journey with me of getting healthier and they understand that. So I don't always have to be posting now on my stories, hey, I recommend you do this, and these are my tips for that, and here are my recommendations. It now becomes a bit more personal.
Yes, yeah. And you also don't just cover fun stuff. I mean, you've talked about harassment, bullying, suicide. I mean, you've covered some pretty heavy topics.
Yeah. And I mean, to this day, I still get, about those sort of things, I still do get a bit nervous because I know it is, it can be a bit controversial for some people. I know in yachting, it's not something that's spoken about, which is something that I am trying to change. But something I am incredibly passionate about is bullying on board. I think it's unacceptable in any workplace. So I just figure if I can help one person with my voice, that's enough for me to keep going. But it's not easy, for sure, to put yourself out there like that. I mean, I did a video once, like exactly like this over Zoom, and it was put on someone who does counseling for yacht crew about my struggle with anxiety and with bullying on board. And I still haven't watched it because I'm like, I get really worried seeing my voice, but I know that it's out there because people have seen it. They've told me it's good and they're happy. So if it makes you nervous, I guess for me, you don't always have to watch it. Just put it out there.
Yes.
You know, when I have a conversation with you, we don't replay our conversation. We just talk.
No. Yeah.
So you don't watch it. If it makes you nervous, don't watch it. That's fine. Okay. But if it's something that you're passionate about, it will resonate with someone.
That's awesome. Okay, so lighten it up a bit again. So when you have your stories, what makes you choose which ones go into the highlights? The ones that get the most views?
Oh, good question. My highlights are a bit full at the moment. Apparently it caps at 100. So
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to add some more. Honestly, I think every now and again, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, I have different subsections. I subsection my highlights based off of subsections on my blog because I want to keep consistency. So I have a section on my phone called Pretty Things, which is all about design and tablescapes. And yeah, I think if people have sent me messages about it, it's definitely going to be archived. If I'm sharing any tips or any advice, I archive all of that. If it's just me talking about, you know, nothing particular, it doesn't get archived. I think when I look back at the stories, and as I go through my highlight feed, I'll go, that 100% correlates to new crew. That's going into that, you know. And if I see the direct connection between the two, I will highlight it.
Yes.
And I try and keep highlights really positive and upbeat as well. Like, yes, I will talk about, you know, things that I want to change, but also I think the highlights are your chance for someone to really get to know you through these series of little messages. So I try and keep it really colorful, really upbeat. I do reshare quite a lot of other people's posts on my stories if I think it's going to inspire someone else. Those sort of things I don't put in my highlights because my highlights are about me and my brand, they're not about someone else's.
Okay. Now you mentioned something about archiving, and I have to put my hand up. This is not something I even knew about until Your sister Maddie explained it to me last week, because I thought once a story was done after 24 hours, it was the old Snapchat gone, but it's not, right?
No, it's not. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can here. So on my, I'm not sure if the screen's that good. So if you see my Instagram there, I'm just going to tap on the top one, cocktails. It will take a minute to come up. Once it comes up, in the bottom corner, it says more. If you just tap more, their second one says edit highlight. So I just tap on edit highlight, and there's two options, selected and archive. Another thing a lot of people don't know too, that I found out from one of the Instagram people I follow that's an expert. If you tap on your highlight, you can click edit cover, and you can edit the cover without having to upload it to your stories. Because it's really annoying when you're watching someone and then all of a sudden they've got 15 slides of just graphics that they're going to use on their highlights. Totally don't need to do that. You can just upload it from here. So once you're here, there is an option. It says selected. So these are already the ones that are in my cocktail highlights already. If you go across to archive, it's going to take a while to load because there's lots. But these, slowly but surely they'll come up, are all of my stories that are not in that archive. And I checked the other day, it goes back to February 2018. So it gives you about a year to go back on, which for me is amazing because I often forget to kind of archive things here and there.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Now, I'll just finish off because this has been very good. You give me your time. You've had quite a lot of companies approach you now about promoting their products and becoming a sponsor or an influencer. How did you get into that?
I think slowly with growth, it does happen. The first kind of sponsored post I did, I actually won a giveaway. I won some jewelry. And then they reached out and said, oh, we would love to send you some product if you'd be willing to do a giveaway. And I said, sure. And then a company reached out to me because they had just heard about my Instagram. They were brand new to yachting. And then I got compensation for a certain amount of one blog post and then 3 Instagram story or Instagram posts a month, in addition to, other things. But I'm really selective. A few weeks ago, I got this email from this sport brand. They'd seen that I was here training, and they said, hey, we would love to give you 25 pairs of leggings to give to your followers if you, would want to partake. And I said, yeah, absolutely, send me the details. I always, my initial email is always positive. But then I start researching, and this company has a serious amount of issues, and I don't want to be associated with that brand, and I just said no. And I think there's a lot of power in saying no to companies. And I'm also learning to pitch myself. I've recently started doing a lot of blog posts, a lot of podcasts, I should say, which are great because people will listen to these podcasts maybe in a year's time when a blog post I've just written, is at the bottom of my website now. So, I think I'm learning as well now about pitching myself to companies like, hey, I really love your product. I would love to do a giveaway. I've done that a few times with giveaways. I think they're a great way to kind of engage, thank the followers, and also gain more followers if you ask them to tag friends and whatnot. And I just say, here, hi, I'm Gemma. I have, 8,000 followers. 55% of them are females. They're based in Fort Lauderdale. I know that you're a Florida boutique. I would love to work with you, take it from there. So I just think you really need to target who you're reaching out to and use Instagram business. Use that insights that they give you. And be honest.
Able to know who your audience is and how engaged it is.
Absolutely. And be honest, I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, and I have another 8,000 followers on Pinterest. I don't have that. So I think it's really important to keep your stats up to date of all your followers and all your platforms and just be really honest with them as well.
Yeah. So how much correlation is there between your Facebook page audience and your Instagram audience? Or do you think they're completely separate?
I think they're pretty separate, to be honest with you. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. I feel like you and I are the opposite, Dad. You love Facebook. I'm like, a bit on the edge of Facebook. Maybe you could help me. But
could do it. I do it. Take over the Yacht Stew.
Yeah, They would for me, I find Facebook is a lot more of an older generation. My Instagram is primarily 25 to 30. I really don't have many followers in kind of the grand scheme of things, much over that, just because my demographic for what my job, everyone within my industry is in that age group. And then I think on Facebook, I just have a bit more of a broader audience.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
Because everyone's on Facebook, but not everyone is on Instagram. So
got it.
Yeah.
Do you ever do any? Obviously, you do your stories, but do you ever do any Instagram live?
I've never done a live, and I will get there. But I think there's always that fear that no one's going to show up. And I had that fear when I first launched my blog. It was literally ready to go for over 3 months. And I just refused to hit publish because I was like, no one's going to read it. I hit publish, and, at that time, I think I had maybe 3,000 followers, and about 300 people looked at it on the first day, and I cried. I couldn't believe that 300 people looked at it, and I did. So I have not done a live. It has actually been requested, which is weird. In the last few weeks, a few girls have asked if I'd be willing to do it so they could come on and ask questions, because you can have people come on live with you and you can chat. So maybe that could be this month's goal.
Coming soon. So you just launched a new website this week. The soft launch was last week. The hard launch was, and you announced it on Instagram. What, yesterday? Or Monday?
I think Monday. I lose track of times with the.
So you told people it was coming. You said it was going to be at a certain time of day that you would announce what was coming out. And you told me an amazing number of people had take action.
So from my Instagram alone, I had 700 people click my bio. And I don't have an email list, which is something that I know is super, super important. And now
you do now?
I know. So now the new blog, I'm focusing on that. And, within the first day, I had 20 people sign up, which for me is huge. That's 20 people that are saying, yes, I want you into my inbox every week. And I think that's amazing. So, yeah, I think it's important on Instagram to build up things too. I've just launched a big giveaway based out of Florida for a whole bunch of flowers. And I did the countdown. On stories, you can now do a countdown. And I just said, hey guys, I've got a really fun giveaway for all you flower loving babes. And everyone's like, oh, what's that? And then 2 days later, I was like, oh, the countdown for those fresh blooms are coming up. And then when you do announce it, people are already waiting for it. So definitely use it in your favor. And there's some great apps now. One of my favorite apps I totally recommend is called Unfold. And it means that they give you these templates, and you can basically, on your Instagram, the top will be a video, the bottom is like maybe a photo or another video, and inside is a text. And it's this great layout. So then when I'm uploading, I'm not just uploading a video of here, I'm sitting at a pool. At the top will be a photo of the pool. At the bottom will be a video of me having a coconut or something, It's just a lot more interactive for people. So.
And I was wondering how you did that. Now I know.
I had a few messages about that. Yeah, it's an app called Unfold, and a lot of big influencers are using it. It's just a lot nicer, and they've got really nice text options. Instagram doesn't have awesome text options, and some of these are more calligraphy. So I think if you have more of a feminine brand, it's really helpful. Yeah.
So I noticed you had a little device on the back of your phone. Do you often use a tripod or any kind of lamp or lighting or anything?
Yeah. Just my pop socket, and I only got one recently because I noticed that my pinkies were starting to go like that because my phone's so heavy. But no, I don't use that. I mean, I'm not a professional influencer or anything along those lines. I'm literally just a girl behind a screen wanting to help a few people, So I've never gone to those kind of lengths of getting a tripod. Maybe at some point, if the Yacht Stew continues to grow, I have literally a wall of Post-it notes at your house of ideas and hopes and dreams. And maybe at some point I will need to rely on more information and, more technology. But no, for now, I literally, Instagram stories, always use a hands-free setting when you're doing a story, because it means that your hand is free. You don't have to be holding it. And if you want to flip the screen around. You just have to tap instead of fiddling. And I think just less fiddling is better.
Yeah.
But no tripod.
Fantastic.
Husband.
I love it. I love it. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for giving us some insights. And now everybody gets to see the person that I talk about all the time. So proud dad #moment. So last word of wisdom to people on Instagram.
Something I've done recently is I wrote out 5 reasons why I follow other accounts. One of them was positivity, insight, vibrant colors, so on and so forth. And then I wrote out 5 reasons why people should follow me. And I tried to see if maybe they would correlate, because I think if I'm going to be following these beautiful, brightly colored accounts, why should my account be just, dull? So I think that was really a really kind of hard test for me. Why I follow other accounts and why they should follow me, and what I can do to maybe make mine more of something that I would follow if I was a spectator.
Awesome. That is amazing advice, actually. That's very wise advice. Gemma, thank you so much. Say hi to Benjamin.
I will. Talk soon.
And it's pretty late here. It's 11:20 night in Dallas. And what time is it there?
It's 12:30 in the afternoon tomorrow for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Gems.
You're welcome. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye. Thanks for this.